Welcome to the Pool Nation podcast, where it's all pool talk. And we ain't talking about netting and jetting or splashing and dashing. We're talking about becoming a nation of pool pros. We talk about the latest products, trends, and training in the pool industry. Now let's welcome your host, with over a decade of industry insider experience and still the reigning champion of Marco Polo, Edgar De Jesus, and his co-host, John J.J. Flawless, the fastest netter in the West, and Zach the Pool Boy Nicholas.
Welcome, everyone, to the Pool Nation Live podcast. I am Edgar De Jesus, and yes, I am the reigning champion of Marco Polo, along with John J.J. Flawless, the fastest netter in the West, and the famous Zach, the Pool Boy Nicholas. First podcast of 2025, which is going to be an epic year, as John shows us his Tums.
That's how we're starting the year off right there.
Perfect. I'm over here talking about killing 2025, and you're like, give me some Tums.
Already giving me heartburn, dude. When you've only spoken for like 5 minutes, not even like 5 seconds.
Oh, Lord. Hey, everybody. Today we are talking business talk, answering some of your business questions. But before we do that, I want to welcome everyone to the live podcast, a podcast where it's all pool talk, and we ain't talking about netting and jetting and splashing and dashing. We're talking about becoming a nation of pool pros. And yes, we will talk about the latest products, trends, and training in the pool industry. But before we get started today, I want to thank our visionary partners for this podcast, the SPPA, Blu-ray XL, Aquastar Pool Products, Natural Chemistry, Raypack Heritage Pool Supply, Hayward Pool Products, Poolside Tech, and Pool Brain. We want to thank them for their support. Mr. Zacharias, what's going on, brother?
Man, I went on Christmas break with my grand plan of knocking a bunch of stuff out and getting it done, which I failed horribly on. But I have made up the last few days, and we've been just rallying. We laid out Q4. Here's some big things that we want to try to wrap up and be done for 2025 so that we can go into the year and just execute. And we're like at the finish line on multiple things. So we've just been rallying to get a lot of that done. And one of them's our new terms of service. I haven't really touched it or updated it in probably like 2 years now. So went through that, just finished that on Wednesday, and we're going to be rolling that out. And it's exciting because this is going to be a really good version of it. We got the input of everyone. We're covering everything. So I'm super excited to start putting that out to the customers. But other than that, we've just been real focused on training. Jennifer in the office, she's been knocking out like some training manuals and service books and things like that. And then we just hired someone who started on Monday, and we're looking for the next person already. So we're rocking and rolling in 2025.
That's awesome. Mr. Flawless, what's going on? You're definitely looking a little bit like a mountain man there.
I know we were talking about it pre-podcast.
Zach, this is what I envision, right? Follow me here, Zach, on this vision. So you got John with that big, huge beard. What if we convince him to grow out like the top of his hair, like really big like that? And then we have just this big head of hair up at the top and this big, huge head of hair at the bottom.
I think you should grow it out.
Just grow it out like big time. Not even like mine, bigger, like all these young kids.
Look, you can always tell around the house or people that know me that because I've had my head shaved since I can't remember. I think since like junior high or middle school. I've always kept my hair pretty low cut. And I do it simply because it's so much easier and efficient, right? I don't have to worry about going to the barber and getting a haircut and it getting messed up or doing my hair and all that. So I have my own clippers and I do my thing and I buzz my head usually once a week. But when I get really busy or things happen, the last thing I remember to do is buzz my head because you don't have a lot of idle time and you think, oh, okay, I'm going to go cut my hair before I jump in the shower. You know what I mean? Because by the time I get home, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I'm laying in bed and I'm like ready to pass out, wake up in the morning and do the next thing. So it's been quite the month for me because I think my hair is about as long as it's ever been. I can almost start styling it now. I think I can put some gel in it. I can do, yeah, look.
I just zoomed in so everybody can see it.
And you can see all the gray hairs that are coming through, but I will be cutting my, oh, wow.
There you go.
All you're missing is a flannel.
Like totally, like you need a red and black flannel. That's all you need right now.
I will be getting rid of my hair. But other than that, I'm doing good. Life's great. We're looking forward to 2025. I think it's going to be an amazing year for all of us. This last week, obviously, we had Christmas. 31st was our anniversary. So
Janie's birthday the next day.
Janie's birthday the next
Happy
day.
birthday, Janie.
You can tell that it is a very expensive week for me at the end of the year.
Now we know why you were working so hard. The truth comes out.
For real. As mama ages and she ages like fine wine, her taste starts to evolve as well. And it's funny, as you get older and how your perspective on things change and what you like and what you don't like and stuff like that. So she's getting a little harder and harder to shop for, but I think we're figuring it out. But other than that,
who are you kidding me? You're like every other father on this planet, my friend. Talking about like, oh, she gets hard to buy for. Like, you buy anything, you're just as surprised as the kids are when they open the presents.
right?
And you're like, wow, we got her that. Yeah, that's awesome. And then he turns around and he goes to her, wow, how much did that cost us?
Right.
Hey, big shout out to our boy Todd Pieri.
Look, it was great. Everybody's safe. Everybody's happy.
Yep.
Everything seems to be going in the right direction. No surprises, which are good. And we got an action-packed 2025. So looking forward to it. And it's starting next week. We're hitting the gates running.
Craziness. The floodgates open. The dam is going to break and it's flooding. Hey, let me give some shout outs here really quick. Jeanette, happy new year to you. Jay Breakfield, happy new year. Jay, we need to get together. I need to come down and take a look at your new place. You just bought a new place down there, a new building. Excited about that. Every child is a swimmer. Happy New Year. Zach is saying shout out to everybody. Mama, congratulations on the anniversary for putting up with John, first of all. Second of all, happy birthday to you out there. Our boy Todd Pieri, happy New Year. Here's to lighten up the sphere in 2025. We need to talk about that, boys. I know that we've been putting everything in the rear, but we need to come up with a campaign that we start to kick off for that now at the beginning of the year.
I did my part, everybody. Look, I think I put 10 filters in the last 3 weeks.
He's put in 10 filters the last 3 weeks. He's kept calling me going, check. And then our boy Jordan Knorr, that's part of the Pool Nation Business Matrix, out Blue Oasis Pool Care. He was like, oh, installed one. Check for the sphere. Let's go. Mr. Rick Harvey, big shout out to you out there, Mr. Rick Harvey. I got you on my list of people to call. He doesn't know it yet, guys. He doesn't know it, but we're going to reach out to him. We need to have him on the podcast. We got some stuff in line for our boy Rick Harvey out there. So big shout out to you. Our boy Kevin with Pool Brain. Big shout out to you, Kevin, as well. Big shout out. Need to connect here very soon. Love the hairdo is what he's saying, John. He loves that hairdo. I say you keep it.
Thank you. Thank you.
I say you keep it. I say you keep it like Bobby.
No, a perm. Really imagine me with a perm. Are you kidding me?
Bobby is the man, bro. So big shout out to Bobby out there. So, hey, everybody, we're excited to have you. Very first podcast at 2025. We're fired up. We got a lot of stuff for 2025, and we can't wait to get into it. Want to talk really quick about the Business Matrix. We have the first training, which is going to be January 18th. We're really excited about that. And what we're going to do is we're going to focus on goals. Here's the accountability part of it. You're going to come over. You're going to learn the SMART goals process. There's 5 different versions of setting goals, but we chose the SMART goals. It's a little bit more effective. It's measurable. And what's going to happen is by the end of that training, you're going to set 2 goals. Now, I had said one's a personal goal, one's a business goal, and then somebody reached out with regards to that personal goal. That's going to be a personal goal within your business, right? So it could be whatever it is. It could be that you want to become a trainer in your company, right? And so there's that skill set into learning that, or you want to master whatever the hiring process, or you want to master. So something that's personal skill that you're going to develop into your business. And then going into it, you're going to set up a business goal. There's a couple of things that we did. We have an off number for the group. So what we did is we want to balance out the group a little bit more because we might be splitting some of the groups as we do these trainings. With Doreen, we were playing and we're doing kind of groups. So what most likely will happen, if we could get it to work on the Zoom, what will happen is we'll have breakouts within the training. And so what we're going to do is we're going to open up 2 more spots in order to be able to even out those groups that we want to break out. So right now, we just opened it this morning. There's 2 spots on the Pool Nation to even them out, hopefully to be able to even it out. If not, it's not a huge deal, but if we can, that would be perfect. So if you're interested, There's 2 spots open. Go. It's on auto close. As soon as they're taken, it'll close. The next one that we'll do is a KPI training. We are trying to do that out at Gold Medal Pools out here in Texas. So we're trying to work out all the final details for it. But hopefully what we do is we're able to get out here. We'll go to Gold Medal Pools. We'll be able to do a tour of their facility out here in Texas. And then Josh will be talking about financial KPIs. We'll be talking about chart of accounts. And what will happen is after that second training, you will have to pick anywhere from 2 to 4 KPIs that you will start to track. You'll have your chart of accounts and you'll start to prepare your financials for the class that we're going to do in June. In June, it's all going to be about financials, learning your cost of service, your rates, your profit per pool, all that kind of fun stuff. So get out there. And then after that, we're going to start with employee life cycle. We've got a couple things in our back pocket that we don't want to announce just yet on the business matrix. But as we finalize those, we will be able to talk about those. So get out there, register if you want to, and then stay tuned. We will have soon all the dates on the website and the registration for all the boot camps that you'll be able to register for. Those are coming up. First question that came in, can you give us an update on the industry for 2025? I can do a quick update, gentlemen. Really, we take a look at 2025. We are obviously continuing the trends that we're seeing in 2024. We continue to see construction. Pools are being built. They're not being built at that fast pace that they were being built. So we continue to see the builder side a little bit slower, and there's a lot of different factors into that. Obviously, interest rates are still high. After COVID, everybody's traveling, everybody's doing all that. I think the price point of a lot of things are expensive. And when you can't refinance at a low interest rate, then that kind of scares off people a little bit. So that's the trend that we're seeing on the builder side for 2025. We think that's going to continue through 2025 unless we see some big interest rate drops, which it's still on the fence. It doesn't look like they're coming. That could change. Obviously, you've
changed
got
it back, didn't they?
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. You've got Trump coming in. That might be able to change that. We'll see how that kind of plays out. But for now, it's looking like they're going to stay there. Let's see how that progresses into 2025. So we'll probably continue to see the trend on the builder side. Now, what I do want to tell everybody is obviously the industry is always building pools, right? And it doesn't matter if it was the Great Recession or after COVID and stuff like that. Pools are still continuously being built. So that's always a good thing for our industry. Now, if we look at the service side, we're really not going to be affected. We really aren't affected too much. You'll obviously still have all the service. You will still have all the repairs. You will have that side of it that really won't change much. When we talk about the industry for 2025, don't see too much of a change of what we're currently seeing in 2024, unless there's some things that kind of all of a sudden kind of come up and change. So
the whole update industry thing, maybe we can make that a thing or something. We can do that like once a month or once a quarter or whatever, and come up with some stats and stuff. And
yeah, we can definitely
and present it. I think that's a good idea. Because it's important for us to plan. That's the whole purpose of everything we talk about. Understanding your business, your financials, and being proper businessmen and women, and foreseeing obstacles and planning ahead for it. And that was one of our main things when we first started our podcast almost 5 years ago, when we had to crunch with COVID, and we were talking about the industry and the feel for it. And we had Jared on, and we were talking about, hey, look, the prices of chlorine and trichlor, everybody was sitting pretty at the sub 100 cost for a bucket of tabs, right?
Should we call it the $88 days?
The $88 days, right? I was even getting cheaper than that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was about the average. The 88 days.
88 in the 80s, or explicitly remember this. And we had phone calls, and I had people messaging me and talking to me, and we're saying, hey guys, look, we need to foresee this and plan for it. And trichlor, it's going to happen. Cost is going to go up. This is what we're seeing. This is a trend line. And we even said this, and probably shouldn't, hindsight, looking back, we shouldn't be giving any financial advice. You know what I mean? Like telling people, but we're like, hey, whatever you got to do, if you need to take out a line of credit, you need capital, this is it, dude. You want to 5x your investment, you know what I mean? But not only that, but plan ahead and make sure your company is equipped and in position to where you're not going to be hurting during these tough times, and go out and get these bucket of tabs and get the chlorine and the supplies that you need. And there was a lot of people that followed through and listened to the advice, and they went out and they did it. And I had those follow-up phone calls a couple of years later saying, hey, look, wow, that was like the best thing I ever did, because now I was in a position where, forget the cost went up 3 times, but I was able to have the product available to be able to service the clients that I had, because there was a time where people were losing accounts because nobody had chlorine to take care of the accounts. So it's kind of an interesting thing when you go back and you look at it, but having your fingertip on what's actually happening, instead of we get caught up in our own little worlds, in our own little bubbles as businessmen.
We really do.
Yeah, because we're there and we're in the grind. A lot of us are working out in the field doing our thing, and it's like, this doesn't affect me right now, so it's not my priority. But we have to shift our mindset and understand that these things do have a huge impact on us in the long run, and if we can prepare for it, then we can avoid a lot of pain, suffering.
A lot of people got into the industry like me and hadn't really gone through anything like that before. So, as much as it was talked about, you keep waiting and waiting because you're like, nah, that's not going to happen. That's never happened. And then now, after having gone through that,
Yeah.
it's like, okay, let's take these things a little more seriously. And like you said, try to be better prepared.
No, you're right, Zach. That's so perfect because, and again, that just comes with wisdom. And a lot of us had to learn the hard way. Now that we get older and a little bit more experience, a little bit more wise, we look at these things and go, okay, yeah, let's put a little effort and let's plan just in case. If it doesn't happen, we can celebrate that we didn't have to worry about it. But if it does happen, we're not going to get caught with our pants down going, what the hell? What do I do now? So yeah, let's do that. Let's make it a thing.
Absolutely. I swear every time I try to listen, I'm jacking around with a pump that won't prime or a pool full of leaves helping out the guys. And by the way, out here, and Zach will attest to this, it's always like that week, like right before Christmas, that the trees decide, okay, we're done. And then just like all the leaves just come down. And it's really weird because you go out there, they look a little greenish with a little brown. You're like, oh, they still have time. This year, it looks like it'll go past Christmas. Nope, every time, just that week right before Christmas, they all flip brown and they just all come down. And I've been driving around and I see the guys with the buckets and the bags just full of leaves and overflowing in the back of the trucks and all that kind of stuff. Benny is saying, if it happens again, I'm going to the black market for bootleg chlorine. Absolutely. Like, we're going to have to.
Dude, people were slanging chlorine off trucks.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Dude, it was crazy. Like, I got a connection on a pallet of chlorine. And
I was driving to Leslie's locations and they were like limiting buckets. So I'd have to buy 1 or 2 buckets and then like hide it in the back of my bed and drive to the next location. And I'm just trying to do what I can to round up tabs.
oh, that's funny. Do you ever watch Impractical Jokers? You ever seen that show?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so we religiously watched it. But anyways, they have a skit or whatever where they go into like a random place and they register for something. And this is one of their bits. And every time they go there, they register, they say a name, they go as themselves. And the next time they come back in a disguise. And however many times you can go and get registered in a different dress up or disguise or outfit, and whoever can succeed the most wins whatever that challenge. That's what it reminds me of. Like, yeah, go to the Leslie's, you go one way, and then next time you're tucking in your beard, right? You know what I mean? And then you're wearing a different outfit, doing whatever you can. But hey, look, we had to do what we had to do in order to make it happen.
Yeah, Benny's saying that he drove around for 4 hours just to get 6 buckets, but that was definitely the days. So crazy time, my friends. Hey, really quick, let's jump in and let's do this. Let's answer one of the questions that came in, and then what we'll do, we'll take a break, and then we'll get into the second one, because I think the second one we're going to get a little bit more into detail. So the first one is, I have a quick question for you guys. I struggle with clients paying late. It seems that I'm always chasing customers to pay. What can I do? And I think obviously we all know that getting paid right away is important for the cash flow. You need to keep the beast fed. And that is making sure that your customers are paying you all the time, on time. And there's a lot of different things that you guys can put into play. I have a couple things that I have to talk about, but I'm sure you guys are going to hit on them, but I'll let you guys go first. So who wants to jump in first?
I'll go first. This is something that we learned the hard way in the beginning. And like you said, cash flow is the key to everything. And the bigger you get, the more you have to manage that cash flow, because you've got payroll, you've got people counting on money, you've got vendors to pay, whatever it may be. You have to make sure that your cash flow is strong. And I started a route back in 2015 before like we decided as a company to grow a route. And I was out there doing it myself. I was managing all of the billing, and I billed after the fact. So it was that thing that you hear of all the time where you're working late at night, you're trying to manually bill everyone, you get behind and you're constantly chasing checks and cash. And that was what led to me being like, I don't think I want to do this anymore. And so I went back into repairs, got rid of the small route I had grown. And then a few years later, Leslie said, we need to get into maintenance and seriously do this. So when we went into it, I went into it knowing what I didn't want to deal with. And again, and so the things that we've done is we bill in advance. That's one way that you don't chase checks. You get your money in advance. And then that way, for whatever reason, that payment doesn't come in or that card declines, you can suspend service or you're not out there doing the work that you're not getting paid for. So billing in advance and then automating that billing in some way. I won't forget the whole folding invoices, licking envelopes, putting on stamps, doing all that.
Posting the charges all one at a time manually.
Yeah, miserable. So automate it. And that was one thing we did. We automated it. Everything went digital. And on top of that, cards on file. Like everyone had to have a card on file. And there's some pools that we don't pick up because it's like, for whatever reason, they will not put a card on file. And unfortunately, with us, it needs to be on file. But those are some of the things that we did and have been successful in helping us not have to waste a bunch of time. And it keeps our cash flow strong. And then I've talked about it before. We have 2 billing cycles. So that's something that we do that has really helped.
Yeah, that's a big one, definitely, especially as you continue to grow. If you could do that from the beginning, because it's all about processes, right? The sooner that you put processes in place, then it gets easier to scale. And that's a huge one, right? Being able to have those different pay dates so that you can not having a worry about cash flow, especially when it comes to paying your employees. You need to have that. That's the freak out. That's the part that freaks you out. So, John, thoughts?
This is probably one of the most important topics or parts of your business. If you think about it, it doesn't matter what you do, what work you do, how well you do it, how much you sell. If you can't collect and you don't put that money into your bank account, nothing happens. Everything comes to a halt. So being able to collect money is very important, but it's a touchy subject. And in the pool industry, I'm going to say it's a little different in the pool industry, not just pool industry. I think more any blue collared work, any type of trade work like plumbers, electricians, sole proprietors, small companies. I think for me, coming from a different world in the retail world, everything was plain and simple. These are terms. This is what it is, right? You come in and you want to buy this and you don't pay for it. You don't walk out with it. And it was hard for me to understand that, right? Like, why is it even a discussion? You ask for something, you receive something in exchange for this amount of money, right? When I am completed or when I'm done, I receive that money, and that's how it works. Why am I chasing you for cash? And it was hard for me to wrap my brain around it until I was a part of it. And I understood it because even I fell victim of it when I first started. I don't know what it is, but for some reason, and maybe it's just me, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm sure each and every one of us inside felt this at one time. I don't feel like this anymore, and I'll explain that in a little bit. But when you go out and you do something and you're putting in this work and you're billing out a lot, and maybe the person you've built a relationship with them, you might know their financial, however, just whatever their means or whatever it may be. And you know what you bought something for, what you sold it to them for, what you're pricing your labor at, or you're not very comfortable or understand the market quite yet. So you don't know if you're too high or you're too low or whatever it is. And then you go to bill and you feel like almost, I don't know what it is. And I think that's why we don't like to do billing, is just, it's, oh my God, now I got a service might cost $250 a month or whatever it is. And now I got to bill them $150 for this. Are they going to complain? Are they going to dispute it? Are they going to do this? Are they going to do that? And for some reason,
confrontation, you have a little bit of a fear of that confrontation.
I don't know. And I never felt that before. But when I first started, I think what happened was it was my lack of confidence in my abilities and the service and what I provided for them. And I truly believe, not because it was subpar or I didn't deserve that money, it was that I didn't really know that I deserved that money for what I was charging for it. But I can happily say that time frame in my life was very short, and I grew out of that really quick. And it got to a point where, as I elevated myself and educated myself and felt comfortable in the work that I was doing, understood my market, knew what I was able to provide and do and stuff like that. We don't have that issues or that problem anymore when it comes down to knowing what we charge, why we charge it, and expecting to be paid for it. But I can say that I just hate doing billing, period, as an individual. And it's like one of those things, I think, as a human race, the number one fear is like public speaking, right? That we all collectively don't like doing it. I think we all collectively don't like billing.
I don't think I've talked to very many pool pros that turn around and say, "Oh, I love doing billing.
Yeah,
That's
billing
one of my favorite things."
right?
Like,
You know what I mean?
to be honest with you,
It's just
it's
bizarre.
really
I love
weird,
money, right?
but I hate the process.
I hate to do it. Luckily, I have a Janie and I have a mama, right? And she is fantastic at it.
Mhm.
And she has no shame. She is like on top of it. So I'm blessed in that way. And I still hate doing it because I have to still be involved a little bit, because when we go through all our invoices and we transport everything over to QuickBooks, we kind of do our stuff. She'll run through them and she'll ask me, okay, what did we do something here? Did we do something there? Whatever. And then I would have to sit there and go, okay, I got to sit down for like 2 hours and I got to sit there and just listen and answer questions and then go back.
He's all, we installed 10 pipeline filters, but I can only remember 8. Where was the other
Yeah.
2? Shit, give me the list. Where's all the list of people going through? Blah, blah, blah.
Dude, I got to tell it, in my past, I've probably given away
I did too.
Like,
I remember 6 months later going, I put a pump in. Holy crap.
And again, that's growing pains. It's learning. We don't do that anymore. And what I really wanted to do was highlight what Zach was saying. And we learned from Zach a little bit. We're not quite at what he does, where he bills twice a month, right? In 2 different billing cycles. At first, I was like, no way I want to do this twice a month. You sit down. I already hate doing it once. I'm not going to sit and do it twice, even though it'll be half the work. But I understand and I appreciate where you're coming from by doing that. And I think it's brilliant. This is something that took me a long time to realize and do for my company, is that we bill in advance. We've always done that. We bill in advance. This is it. But the other thing that we do is, because I hated doing billing so often and doing stuff, and this is funny, even though I'm not the one typing it out, Janie is, anytime we did we would do 20, 30,000, whatever, you know what I mean? Like a job. And then because they're a current client, we would just bill them at the beginning of the month for that month. And I would carry over. Or we put pumps in, we put filters in, we put ozone, we'll put salt cells, we'll do everything we do. And if they're a current client, we just bill them once a month right on the first, and it's due then, and we carry it over. And I would tell, oh, don't worry about it. We're just going to add it to next month's bill. And then all of a sudden I was becoming the bank of flawless. And I'm thinking, I'm telling Janie, and I'm like, what the hell, man? And I go, and I don't want to do this. I didn't want to just do billing again. So I was torn between 2. And we were just having a conversation last night, because we were still doing billing. We were finishing up a couple invoices that we're sending out. And Janie said it herself. She's all, I'm so happy that we bill immediately when we do any type of work outside of our monthly service. And not any type of work. If we're putting baskets in or seals or air pressure gauges and that type of crap, that we add that to the bill. I'm not going to sit and send the friggin' $40 invoice to my client or throughout in the middle of the month. You're damn right. If I put a pump in, or if I'm putting a salt cell in, or if I'm doing whatever, any of that, we are billing immediately. The minute we walk off the property, it goes off. It's already saved in the thing, because before we go to the job, we have the job layout. If I had to add anything or do anything or anything change, we adjust it accordingly, add to it, and then boop, we send it. And because we found out that when you do big jobs like that sometimes, and you have a conversation with some of our clients that aren't necessarily, they're busy people. This is their 15th home, and they're probably managing multi-billion-dollar companies or multi-million-dollar companies here and there. And we had a conversation 2 months ago about this or that, and we did that or whatever it was. And then they get in and go, oh, what's this? I hate the, oh, what is this? When do we do this? Bro, we talked about this. You approved it. I hate those conversations because it frustrates the shit out of me. So I find by doing it like this, it's fresh in memory, and they know they're doing it. Here it is. It's done. Pay me. Now I want,
Well, and the other thing, John, is the technology is now there. If we look at 10 years ago, there was no way. You and I are a little bit more old school, where when we started, all that technology wasn't there that you would be able to do that right then and there. And nowadays, you have everything at your fingertips. So there's no way you should ever sit there and go, I'm leaving a job site and I can't send you the invoice right from my phone.
Yeah.
That should be one of the first things that you do. And technology plays a big role in it. Technology is not just to track chems and do that and track stops and all that kind of stuff. It's really to elevate your service and your performance. And then the customer is going to appreciate it, right? Because the service was done. Boom, here's your invoice. Boom, boom. Here's my service.
Yeah. And even a little further, what should happen and what we're starting to do too is not on some of these things is look, when I'm done, I'll collect payment now, right?
Yeah.
Here is your invoice. I'm sent it. I'm not walking out until I'm paid.
You don't even need the little thing to insert the card anymore. Now, directly from your phone, you can just grab your card, tap, and done.
Boop, done. Yep. And it's, imagine having somebody come over here and install an HVAC company, come over here and put in a $20,000 air conditioning system and go, okay, send me an invoice and I'll pay you.
Yeah.
Look, they're coming.
No.
They're coming to fix my dryer today. And the guy's all like, yep, just payment when I'm done. It's not, I'll send you an invoice.
No, it's here you go. I'm not walking out until it's there. I delivered. Here we go. Any questions? Let's walk. Let's go. Give me my payment. No time for you to sit and stew or do whatever you need to do. And these are the things that you learn and you do. And as you get more experienced or as you've learned the hard way, you tend to, I wouldn't necessarily say you become jaded. You just become more polished. I guess you become more,
just like you were saying, comfortable. Once you've encountered those situations a couple of times and those difficult conversations, the next time it's easier to have that conversation. It's exercise the muscle.
And I think I want to add into that, like something that a lot of people need to think about is what ties into that, and the confidence is being trustworthy. And I'm going to elaborate on that, but
That's
I don't know
huge.
how many times customers have said, I don't know you guys. And I'm like, I don't know you either, but we have a reputation. Go on Google. We have a building. You can stop by. You can meet us. And I think not everyone has a physical location or whatever, but I think managing your reputation online and making sure that you are getting reviews and that you're taking care of your customers and that you're representing your company in a professional way. If I would be a little skeptical if it was the stereotypical flip-flops and a wife beater and no company markings, I could see where a customer would push back a little bit on that. They want to make sure that service is delivered before they pay, because people have been burned. I've been burned. I'm sure everyone's been burned, but that's why it's so important to focus on your image, your reputation, and how responsive you are. There's nothing more frustrating to me when I'm dealing with a contractor on something with the house or something where it's like, I can't get an update. I don't know what's going on. And I've paid $1,000 deposit on something. And I'm just like, are they leaving with my money or am I getting something out of this?
Yeah, I agree 100%. So I'll talk a little bit about my points, even though you've covered them all, but we'll go do that. And then we'll take a word from our sponsors and we'll come back. I think obviously, and John, you're really good at this, is obviously communicate clearly with the customers about the payment expectations, right? Don't be afraid and have that from the beginning, right? When you're taking on an account, be very clear with what you're.
Can I tell you a story?
Yeah, you can tell
I'm
me
going to tell you a story.
All right. Of a lovely lady to, no, just kidding. Most people won't get that. Zach doesn't know what that was.
Kind of something from the past.
He's like something from the 80s.
Brady Bunch?
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. You sitting there watching reruns?
I had a conversation. So look, I'm just going to throw it out there and not going to say any names, but I do this. And I think this is going to be a thing for 2025. I've read some of the messages and stuff that I've given back and some funny little text messages back and forth when customers go a little sideways, right? And you have to set them straight sometimes or stand firm in your beliefs and don't let people take advantage of you. I had an interesting situation happen. And again, it's like sometimes do as I say, not as I do. Here we go, right? I made a mistake and I learned from it. And I'm humbled to say it. And I'm not immune to it. But there's a family that we've taken care of for about 10 years now. And we take care of three sisters. And these people are top maybe 10, 20 of the richest, or top 50, let's say, of the richest people in California. They are super rich, right? Like billions. So, and they have been absolutely amazing and a pleasure to work with. And we take care of them. We do everything we do. We multiple every time they buy a house, and they buy a house, they get sick of it. They get rid of it. And then a year or two later, they buy the same house again because they missed it. You know what I mean? And they'll buy another house or they'll do whatever they do. And we just happened to, they wanted to upgrade their pool or their equipment. So we did an equipment upgrade, and it wasn't cheap, talking about like 30K or something like that to upgrade the equipment. And I know them really well. And we did that. They're never home. They're not there. They only come down once a week, once a year. You know what I mean? So we did that and we sent it out, and I invoiced out immediately for it. And here comes a week later, and I don't have any payment. Nothing's been paid. And I'm like, okay. So I call up one of the property managers who's a great friend of them, and I know him too, and we've talked or whatever. I said, hey, what's going on? He's like, oh, I'll call him, I'll let him know, whatever. Almost a month goes by, and I don't have payment yet. So I'm irritated, right? And I'm getting to the point where I'm like, look. So I make a phone call back to him, and I say, hey, I'm just going to call him Steve. I go, hey, Steve, do you know what's going on with this? I go, we haven't received payment. I need to have my payment for this. I go, I don't understand what the issue is. And he's like, okay, I'll find out for you right now. About 4 days later, we finally get a check in the mail. Or I told him, actually, I go, hey, look, you can do digital payment online. And go, oh, they don't do digital payments. They'll never do digital payments. So I'm like, okay, whatever. Send over a check, whatever you need to do. So about 4 days later, finally, we get a check in the mail. And then I call him up and I say, hey, look, I go, got it, received. Thank you very much. And he's like, hey, John, I want to tell you a funny story. Apparently, this is what they were talking about, and they got the bill, the invoice immediately. And one of the family members were looking at it and said, oh, this much money, this is what's due or whatever. I don't want to pay this all at once. I don't want them to know how much money we have. So if I pay this all at once, they're going to know we have that much money. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Did you not go, do you know who you are? Do you not know who you are?
I go, are you kidding me? You know what I mean? But this is the psychology, right? And then I had a candid conversation with them, and I go, look, to be honest, we think it's funny. I go, but that's irritating to me to think that you can play with the little people because you're going to send out X $30,000 or whatever it may be. You want to play these in games with me because you think, or whatever it may be. I don't even want to read into that bullshit, to be honest. But I go, we do something, I'm going to expect payment immediately and not whatever. But the audacity of people sometimes, to be honest, the disrespect to think that just because they're so damn rich, they can do that to you is really frustrating. So, isn't that funny?
But maybe like people that find out take extreme advantage of that too.
Maybe.
No, I get what you're saying, and I agree 100%.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, like, something triggered that to, we can't let people know.
But they know that I know because we've been servicing their family for 10 years, and we know who they are because you get what I'm saying, right? You know.
And I'm not going to say this is who it is, but it's not, right? But that'd be like, okay, Elon, really, you're really, this is what you're going to do?
Exactly what it's like.
Come on.
The last name, right, is known.
Yeah.
It's not a secret.
It's one of those where he says the last name and you go, oh shit, you service their stuff.
Oh, yeah,
like, oh
exactly.
Shit. That well known.
Yeah. That was my fault because I thought, we're good. You know, they have the money to pay for it. It's not an issue. You do it. You were on a deadline. They were coming down. They needed it. We did this. We did that. We did everything we could. We hustled. We worked like 3 days straight, doing everything in this house, draining it, getting whatever. And then I made it happen. And here we are, and they're happy as can be and happy as a pig in shit. And then here we go, and we send it. Look, this is how much money they have. After they were all done and everything, and I go, hey, you want to come? Did you look at they were there for 3 days, 4 days. You ever look at the equipment? No, I didn't go look at it. You know what I mean? Imagine, right? Dumping that much money on something. And you go, hey, he's all, did you see the equipment? No, I don't need to. Like, okay.
Normal person is walking everybody back there. Look at the new heater that I got. Look at how pretty. Look at this awesome thing.
I took them back there because I was proud. I go, come look at what I did. Right? You know what I mean? Like, look at this masterpiece. And they're like, okay, damn, it looks good. Aren't you happy? It's the focal point here. We should build like a fire pit here, and you guys should do like marshmallows, and you can look at the beautiful equipment we installed and how beautiful it looks.
Hear it when it turns on.
It is art. It really is. So yeah, I took them back. I go, no, come, let's walk back here. Let me show you, whatever. But again, not a big deal. Just goes to show that, hey, nobody's immune to this. And even though I know what's right, sometimes we allow emotions or what we think, because again, what's the difference? We talk about the human aspect of it. And if you're sometimes too robotic, this is what we've learned.
And it happens. When you get into the day-to-day thing, you can become very robotic.
And when you do that and you lose that personal touch, then even though you might not run into as many issues, but you might not be quite as successful, right? Because what helps differentiate you from the competition and from other people, right, is how you treat customers and how you take care of them, right? And being able to accommodate in certain ways and do certain things, it can definitely backfire and blow up in your face. But in a lot of ways, that can actually help build your brand, your reputation, just like what you were talking about, Zach, and how important it is upkeeping your reputation and your brand and who you are, what people can expect when they talk to you or deal with you. And that, I think, pays dividends 10, 100-fold down the road. And it's hard to really put a number on it when somebody's had an amazing experience. Look, you've heard this. People give bad reviews or complain. Complainers are usually the ones that always give a review or a bad review, or will say something when they're pissed off or they feel wronged or whatever. But the people that you've done good work for, 1 out of 10, 1 out of 50, 1 out of 100 might actually take the time out of their day to go out there and actually boast about you or do something, right? The way you can or bridge that gap or decrease that gap between that one person is by going above and beyond and being extraordinary in what you do and really wowing them, and not just delivering on what's expected, but exceeding expectations. When you do that is when you get people excited about you and wanting to talk about you and feel good about doing business with you. And then you're going to go out and they're going to pay you compliments. And then when they reach out to their neighbor or to their friend's friend or their cousins or their pickleball person or whatever in the hell they do, their golfing buddy, I have a guy now or I have a gal now. And then
they don't even say I have a guy. They go, I have a John, I have a Zach, I have an Ed. Oh, you need to talk to Edgar. They don't treat you as my pool guy. It's like, oh, no, you need to talk to Edgar. Let's do this. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we will continue. Look at that. One question today. One question today.
I got another text message from a customer, and I'll read it when we come back.
All right, we'll be right back.
The Hyper Pole from Ultimate Pool Tools is a pool care pole designed by pool professionals for pool professionals, featuring precision-crafted carbon fiber and stainless steel construction. Go to ultimatepooltools.com or Instagram at Ultimate Pool Tools. Pool pros have specific needs when it comes to general liability insurance. The SPPA program has you covered. With 3 tailored and customizable general liability options, SPPA makes it easy for pool pros to feel secure. Find out more and get covered at thesppa.com. Now available, Pool Invoice. Pool Invoice is a pool billing software created specifically for the pool service and repair industry. It's developed for our industry and only our industry. Pool Invoice is built with recurring billing in mind. You can print, email, text invoices, or even send via WhatsApp. You can add recurring or yearly charges, accept credits, and set up autopay. You can even see when customers have seen the invoice. It even has a customer portal where they can log in and see, print, and pay invoices. It has all your customers' information on one page, so you don't need to search through hundreds of invoices looking for the one you need. Just go to the customer profile and it's all at your fingertips. Created specifically for the pool industry, Pool Invoice. Now available at poolinvoice.com. Blu-ray XL is the power of minerals working for you. Reduce your overall chemical costs and labor up to 50% guaranteed. Whether you have 20 accounts or 20,000, Blu-ray XL's direct pricing and free shipping to the pool trade have you covered. Improving pool professionals' profit and work-life balance is what they do. Blu-ray XL, the real mineral purifier. Visit them at BluRayXL.com.
Blu-ray all day.
Aquastar's new pipeline cartridge filters, available in 2 sizes, deliver top-notch hydraulic efficiency along with best-in-class filtration performance, approaching that of DE filters. Uniquely designed, open pleat spacing means 100% of the media square footage is usable. And these claims are backed by NSF test results. Designed with the pro's time and comfort in mind, the patented double locking system improves safety and ease of access, making filter cleaners faster than ever before. Available now. Ask your supplier for pipeline filters today.
Natural Chemistry, a leader in specialty water care solutions for over 30 years, is proud to provide products that make pool service easier than ever before. Its unique enzyme formulations in Pro Series Pro Blend improve efficiency of your pool program while reducing frequency of filter cleaning and scum lines. Natural Chemistry is also well known for its wide variety of phosphate removal solutions that include a non-clouding formula in Phos-Free and extremely high-range removal with Pro Series Phos Remove or Phos-Free Max. Save time, save money, save work with Pro Series products. Stop sacrificing durability or efficiency with the help of Raypak's new Avia HD models that utilize NITEC, their exclusive industry-first technology. NITEC heat exchanger technology is Raypak's latest solution to superior strength and maximum efficiency when it comes to residential pool heating. With 900% more nickel compared to copper nickel in critical surfaces, NITEC creates an ideal surface to protect against scale formation and erosion without compromising on Avia's 84% thermal efficiency. Learn more at raypak.com/NITEC. The next evolution in lighting is here. Universal Color Logic 2.0 from Hayward. The latest in pool and spa lighting was designed with you in mind, making installation a breeze. Upgrades include a detachable cord and first-of-a-kind adjustable lower catch to overcome variations in plaster thickness. As always, Universal Color Logic lights retrofit into virtually any in-ground pool or spa while delivering industry-leading, vibrant color. Visit hayward.com to discover more.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Pool Nation Live podcast. I'm talking to Mr. Zacharias. I'm talking to JJ, first podcast of 2025. And we gone off the rails?
No, I think we're continuing in our fashion.
Yeah.
We're back on our game right now.
We don't change what we do, right? So
Were there ever rails?
The bumper guards are down. They've been down. So, John, did you say something? I've got a little bit of a recap, but
I was just going to talk about a text message that I got, right, about going above and beyond. And this isn't necessarily going above and beyond. This is just sometimes you just do the simple things and you stick to them. Like we talk about picking up your phone, answering your phone, being prompt. And some of those low-hanging fruit that we speak about, we don't really regard as like, oh, it's no big deal or it's whatever, or things happen. But in a customer's mind, that holds a lot of weight because unfortunately in our industry, we don't, and other trades too, you don't really get that type of, that's what really sets you apart from other companies is by delivering on what you're promising and what you're asking for and what you're doing. But we went to go do a real quick job. I have a property manager that we work with and I absolutely adore. She's one of the few that I respect. That's a whole nother subject. I think we should talk about like realtors and property managers and how to deal with them and how to work with them successfully and not be taken advantage of, because God, I remember when I first started and a real estate agent called me up or sent me an email and said, oh, I oversee on this property and I have this inspection report that came out or can you look at this and give me a quote or blah, 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 or whatever, and I have all these properties that I'll do, and
if you give me a discount, I'll get you a lot of business.
I'll do it for free or a call or whatever. And you get into that, oh my God, look what I got. You know what I mean? Like the golden hen. And I'm going to bullshit. 99% of all those realtors out there are full of crap. And the last person they care about is the tradesman or the person that's going out and doing the work. They just want to close the deal. They don't want to cut in. Nobody wants to pay, or the buyer doesn't want to pay, the seller doesn't want to pay, and the realtor sure as hell doesn't want to take the money out of their commission. You know what I mean? And they think that they walk on water and, oh, do you know who I am? I'm
the referral thing.
Yeah,
I'll get you a bunch more referrals.
I'm top 5 in my picture with Wilkins, Adkins, and Sotheby's or whatever. Look at me. I have the highest sales and I can get, nah, man. And then property managers too, they all think that they run the world. And property managers usually have their people too. And you come to find out that, yeah, they have their people too. And I've gone through I can't tell you how many times we go through, oh, we got a property manager for our thing. And when we first started and they want to bring their own pool guy, you know what I mean? But I told them, no, we love you, John. And they're going to keep. And they were a little hesitant and they said but they're going to work with you. And then now they have a chip on their shoulder because now instead of them working with their person, and I get it, you have your person that you're comfortable with that you can talk to or slave around or whatever it may be. And then now you got to deal with this other person And it was a headache, and it's been a headache in the past, but some of them, they're gems out there. And one of them that I have out in the desert here, her name's Shayna, and she's absolutely amazing. And we work really well together because she runs a tight ship just like we do. And she understands and respects us and knows how important we are to her. Because as a property manager, you need to be able to solve problems and take care of things for your people. And by having a good group of vendors and people that can actually solve stuff makes you valuable to the person. And property management out here is a big business because there are multiple second, third, fourth homes where these houses need to be attended to, and a lot of Airbnbs and stuff. So anyways, I'm going off the rails, but I think it's an important topic and I think we should cover this. Let's write it down in our notes so that we can do a topic on this sometime in 2025 about property managers and real estate agents. But I get a message from her and I went out and she's like, hey, John, and I get this all the time. Hey, I'm here at a house. I have guests there that are at the house and their heater all of a sudden doesn't work. It worked before. There's nothing on the display, not working, da, 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 da. We tried calling the pool guy that they have there at the property, but he's not responding, not gone back, and they want to use it. I told him that I had you, but I wanted to call you first and to see if you're available. I know you're busy. Can you do me this favor and go out there? And this is in the middle of it. I go, you know what? Sure, absolutely. I'll go out there and I'll take care of it. And I'll look at it and I'll do what I need to do. I go, I'll be there New Year's Day, right? Janie's birthday. And this is how much the relationship that we have. And I'm willing to do it for her. Our anniversary is on the 31st. She calls me. I got Janie a hotel room. She was out so she can do her thing and have a spa day and do whatever. The first obviously was her birthday and New Year's Day. And I go, look, I'll be there at 10 o'clock in the morning on New Year's Day. We left the hotel room, or I left the hotel room. Janie was still there, and I went out and worked and did a few pulls and did a couple things and did the service call. And I went out there and met the person. I was there at 9:59 or whatever, got in there, went talked to the customer, said, hey, how are you? Thank you so much. Da da da. Sorry to bother you on a holiday, but Shayna said this was da da da, whatever. She goes, no, thank you for coming. I go, let me go take a real quick peek and look. I already figured out what it might have been, no power to it. And obviously a heater, it's not a breaker, right? Probably the comm cable, you know what I mean? Something's gone bad. They have automation. So I went over there and sure shit, you know what I mean? There's like a 500-foot comm cable. It's all down into the ground where it's wet. It's been soaked and leaking and it's all cracked and whatever. And I'm like, yeah, so open it up, whatever, do what I need to do. The customer comes out, I'll take the jumper off, touch the two wires together, boom, thing lights up. And I go, okay, great. Comm cable's bad. So let me run in my truck, talk to the customer. I said, yeah, no worries. We'll get you taken care of. And so I went and got a cord, got a wire, reran the new wire, whatever, got it up, fired up, showed the customer, lit up. I was out in 15 minutes. You know what I mean? Customer was super stoked, happy. I said, thank you so much. Da, 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 da. Enjoy the spa or enjoy the jacuzzi. I'm glad we were able to get you fixed. It wasn't anything too critical, but whatever, go. And I get a message back from her and she sends it. She always does this. She's like, guest said, thanks for sending over your pool guy. What a nice person. He ID'd the problem right away and fixed it lickety split. And he was on time, which I find it rare for a lot of tradespeople. Anyways, I'm quite impressed. Thank you so much. It's like little things like that. And to her, it makes her look like a hero, right? To her homeowner, and then makes her more motivated to work with us. And I told her, thanks for forwarding that. I go, always nice when people appreciate what you do. And then I laughed and I said, I'm nice and whatever. And I said, laugh out loud. And then she's like, that's why I sent it to you, da, 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 da. She's, I'm never here to take credit for my amazing vendors. And I go, you wouldn't have a team of amazing vendors unless you deserved it. And I told her, I go, you have no idea how many property managers I've told to go pound sand over the years. And she is literally like the only person that I work with. And that's for that reason. But it goes to what Zach was saying about building these types of relationships. And sometimes you have to be able to skate between the lines and sometimes give a little bit, right? And you take a little bit of a chance, but the return that you get is much more down the road, where opposed to if you're always strict and you stick with it. And I know this is confusing to some of our listeners right now. And it's not as easy as black and white when it comes down to like money and it comes down to like service and holidays, vacations, and certain things you might bend a little more one way and be a little bit more strict on the other.
Well, but every customer is different. It's easy to have a standard, but every customer is different. And when you start getting into the world of vacation rentals, the thing that I used to tell everybody is it's a third business model within the pool industry. You have your typical residential, which you barely get any calls on the weekend, on Saturday and Sunday. You've got the commercial, right, which you're having to go out through the week. And sometimes you get calls and you have to drop what it is that you're doing. But then you have the vacation rental world, the Airbnb. And what happens there is they have people checking in and out all the time. If something's not working when that person's going to check in, that's a priority because, hey, they'll get a negative review, right? They'll get dinged at that standpoint. And so the way that you have to quote that and the way that you have to run that business is very different than a residential business, very different than a commercial business. You have to understand that you're going to get calls all the time. You're going to get calls at 7 o'clock at night when you're sitting having dinner with the family, or you're doing whatever it is that you're doing on the weekend. So you have to structure your business in order to be able to manage that piece of business so that A, you're not miserable. B, you could deliver a great service, and not every pool company wants to do it. There's a lot of pool pros out in Anaheim that just didn't want to touch vacation rentals. I had a lot of them, but you had to structure it and you needed to understand that it was very different. And dealing with those, John, like specifically, like you're saying, dealing with those property managers, you get property managers that are great. You get property managers that are terrible, right? And you as a business need to understand who's your client, what's the type of client that you want, and they have to meet your criteria. And if they don't meet your criteria, don't do business with them because they're going to make you miserable. They're going to make you not give that great customer service that you want to, because we all know, right? We all get pissy in that backyard and it's yeah. And then that's going to affect you.
I want to jump in because, John, you said something a little earlier about the robotics thing. And that is something that I currently battle with myself, because we're at a stage in our growth where it's become like a big part of it is we have the capacity for X amount of pools and it's going to drive X amount of revenue and we have X amount of bills, and every move that we make needs to generate some sort of revenue so that we can be a successful business. And it's like, I've had this thought lately, and it's in the beginning, we were very much like the above and beyond to where it would cost us time and money and all these things, to the extreme where it was detrimental to our growth and success. But that was one of the things that everyone loved about Zach and Justin. And they were just the most helpful and nicest. I remember one guy, we were doing pool work and he had a huge field and stuff. And like we spent an extra 2 hours there, like moving fence posts and gates for him and helping him and all this stuff. And so it's like, I've worked so hard to go in the other direction to make sure that we are profitable and that we are meeting the mark. And then I find myself at this point of, have we become too robotic? It makes me think of things like someone calls with a heater or something and it's out. And for me, at least, it's easy to be like, that's not an emergency. That is not, it's Friday and we can be out there next Tuesday, but maybe to that customer, it is emergency. And it's like, I'm at this point where I'm like, we're big enough. Like, how can we implement some of this more human aspect back into the company to where, yeah, you know what, it might cost us a little, but in the long run, like that karma could pay tenfold through referrals. And Josh Sandler was the one that really triggered this, because when we had him on, he said, just do the right thing. And I wonder, sometimes we get customers where they have to cancel service for maybe a health reason, or maybe a change in their family status, or maybe something's going on. And I'm like, man, should we just clean their pool for 2 months to help them with like whatever, like at least buy them 2 months of time to do something? But it's hard to be like, and sometimes I just want to do the right thing, but I don't want to fall back into the, I've got 20 pools that we're not collecting any money on.
Dude, you are like so 100% right. It is a tough line to toe, man. And there's no right or wrong way. I wish there was, and look, and I'm going to go back and talk about my past experiences too in some of the ways. There's no book that you can read that will help you understand this or be able to do it the right way and say, when is enough enough? At what point are you being accommodating? And at what point are you being taken advantage of? You know, at what point are you giving a little now so that you can create this perception or reality that you are the go-to company? Like you said, people love you and the reviews are great and whatever. But at the end of the day, if you're not making enough money, at what point is enough enough? And you have to be able to have a balance. And I think just like everything in life, there needs to be a balance. You can't be, when you deal with humans and with people, there are emotions and things that are in play. And I just personally find it where when you can make those exceptions and you do those good deeds to the right people, Not just everybody.
That's the key to the right people. That's
deserve
the key.
it. And that means that sometimes you got to be a mind reader, or you got to be a psychologist, or you got to know them. But I think it really comes down to the relationships that we build with our clients too. And as we deal and talk with people over time, you get to see who's taking advantage of you, their tone of voice, how they're going about it. All that plays in a factor in my decision on whether or not I'm going to leave my wife on her birthday, leave my wife on our anniversary, after hours or before hours time, in order to do those things. I still do that, even though I'm very strict and on certain things. But with some people, I absolutely make those exceptions. I used to say it before, I used to teach and train a lot of managers for stores. And one of the things that I would always say is, hey, look, knowing the rule book and reciting the rule book is not your job. This company, this multi-billion-dollar company, doesn't hire 5 salaried managers and a general manager to run $100 million box just so that they can sit there and go, look, I have this product and I want to return it, and it's a day past the return policy, or here's this or whatever. And this is a situation. This is what happened. I was in the hospital, or this is whatever, or my rent's whatever it may be. And then say, oh, no, I'm sorry. Our return policy is 14 days or 30 days or whatever. You can't do it. Oh, can I speak to a manager? Right? Oh, the manager's just going to tell you the same thing. And the manager goes, oh, I'm sorry, here. It's all in your receipt. It's all told you this or told you that. I'm like, look, man, if rules weren't meant to be bent or broken, or exceptions weren't meant to be made, then we wouldn't be in our position. Otherwise, they would just be pointing up to the board and saying, that's the rules. That's what it is. Call corporate. And this is what you need to do. It's our job to be able to take the information, ask right questions, the situation, and then to make the right call, because that goes a long way for that person, because it's not going to make or break us whether we do this or do that. And if they're genuine, you do these types of things for the right people. And as long as you're not being taken care of, I think it pays for you. And that's when, with us before, our customer service scores and ratings and surveys and everything were like through the roof. And our profitability, we were the top 10 across the country. It wasn't like it hurt us, but it was because we humanized our approach when we speak with our clients, instead of just reciting a rule book or what you can and you can't do, and that's it. Okay, how's that really going to help you? So
I had a customer that I serviced, and old man, probably in his 80s, had Parkinson's disease. He didn't pay me to service his pool. He paid me because I came over and I talked to him and I chatted. And eventually I just got to the point where I'm like, just not going to charge them, right? Because I felt bad. They were on a tight budget. And I serviced his pool every week. And what I did is I set it up so it would be my last pool on Wednesday. So I knew that if I showed up at his pool, I didn't have to worry about time or getting to the other pool and all that kind of stuff. It just felt right. It felt the right thing to do. For you, Zach, it's a little bit different, because that's when I was doing pools and I was on my own, right? When you start to have 10, 15 employees, you can't do that across 10, 15, 20 accounts. But there's always a human factor that we have to figure out. How do we thread the line, and what's the right thing to do and what's not the right thing to do? And like John's saying, there's no book for it, right? There's no rules that you can follow. 1, 2, 3 equals success. So gentlemen, let's do this. Let's take our final word from our sponsors. When we come back, want to get your final thoughts. We'll be right back.
The Hyper Pole from Ultimate Pool Tools is a pool care pole designed by pool professionals for pool professionals, featuring precision-crafted carbon fiber and stainless steel construction. Go to ultimatepooltools.com or Instagram at Ultimate Pool Tools. Pool pros have specific needs when it comes to general liability insurance. The SPPA program has you covered. With 3 tailored and customizable general liability options, SPPA makes it easy for pool pros to feel secure. Find out more and get covered at thesppa.com. Now available, Pool Invoice. Pool Invoice is a pool billing software created specifically for the pool service and repair industry. It's developed for our industry and only our industry. Pool Invoice is built with recurring billing in mind. You can print, email, text invoices, or even send via WhatsApp. You can add recurring or yearly charges, accept credits, and set up autopay. You can even see when customers have seen the invoice. It even has a customer portal where they can log in and see, print, and pay invoices. It has all your customers' information on one page, so you don't need to search through hundreds of invoices looking for the one you need. Just go to the customer profile and it's all at your fingertips. Created specifically for the pool industry, Pool Invoice. Now available at poolinvoice.com. Blu-ray XL is the power of minerals working for you. Reduce your overall chemical costs and labor up to 50% guaranteed. Whether you have 20 accounts or 20,000, Blu-ray XL's direct pricing and free shipping to the pool trade have you covered. Improving pool professionals' profit and work-life balance is what they do. Blu-ray XL, the real mineral purifier. Visit them at BluRayXL.com.
Blu-ray all day.
Aquastar's new pipeline cartridge filters, available in 2 sizes, deliver top-notch hydraulic efficiency along with best-in-class filtration performance, approaching that of DE filters. Uniquely designed, open pleat spacing means 100% of the media square footage is usable. And these claims are backed by NSF test results. Designed with the pro's time and comfort in mind, the patented double locking system improves safety and ease of access, making filter cleaners faster than ever before. Available now. Ask your supplier for pipeline filters today.
Natural Chemistry, a leader in specialty water care solutions for over 30 years, is proud to provide products that make pool service easier than ever before. Its unique enzyme formulations in Pro Series Pro Blend improve efficiency of your pool program while reducing frequency of filter cleaning and scum lines. Natural Chemistry is also well known for its wide variety of phosphate removal solutions that include a non-clouding formula in Phos-Free and extremely high-range removal with Pro Series Phos Remove or Phos Free Max. Save time, save money, save work with Pro Series products. Stop sacrificing durability or efficiency with the help of Raypak's new Avia HD models that utilize NITEC, their exclusive industry-first technology. NITEC heat exchanger technology is Raypak's latest solution to superior strength and maximum efficiency when it comes to residential pool heating. With 900% more nickel compared to copper nickel in critical surfaces, NITEC creates an ideal surface to protect against scale formation and erosion without compromising on Avia's 84% thermal efficiency. Learn more at raypak.com/NITEC. The next evolution in lighting is here. Universal Color Logic 2.0 from Hayward. The latest in pool and spa lighting was designed with you in mind, making installation a breeze. Upgrades include a detachable cord and first-of-a-kind adjustable lower catch to overcome variations in plaster thickness. As always, Universal Color Logic lights retrofit into virtually any in-ground pool or spa while delivering industry-leading, vibrant color. Visit Hayward.com to discover more.
I am living in La La Land over here. Welcome back, everybody. I kept waiting. Zach came back and John's still in La La Land. So I was going to let the commercials just run. That's what we should do, Zach, is we should keep playing the commercial until he comes back. Well, anyways, Zach, let me get your final thoughts. Let's do this. Let's get your final thoughts. But then what I want you to think of is what John would say in his final thoughts. And then if he's not back, I'll say, John, final thoughts. And you pretend to be John and give his final thoughts.
Oh, wow. There's some big shoes to fill.
Ah, damn, he came back. We had this all planned out. We were just going to keep rolling the second commercials all the way through till you came back.
It's funny. It's like when you watch water boil, right? It takes friggin' forever. But if you get busy doing something else or whatever, it happens like that. Our commercials are like super long. It feels like it because we're just sitting there waiting and you're watching. It's like watching paint dry, right? And it's all right. Oh, I still got time. And then another one comes on. But the minute I had to start sending a text message, I'm in there and I'm doing that. And I literally just started text messaging back and forth. And I thought I was only for a minute, but obviously it was like 4 minutes. Sorry. Here I am.
It's all good. Zach, final thoughts.
So today we covered a lot of good stuff and it's like deep.
We did go deep.
And I was like thinking about it on like my final thoughts. I'm like, what did I get from today? And I have a takeaway from today. And it's that on some things, you have to be extremely robotic. And I think robotics like an extreme term and maybe more consistent process driven and like really stick. And those areas might be like billing and streamlining that, somehow automating it so that you are protecting your cash flow. But then on the flip side, the polar opposite of that, you have to be able to go above and beyond in some areas. And you have to be able to keep that human element, and that's the balance. And I think that if someone truly figures out that balance, and I'm sure there's plenty of companies and people that have, but I think that's where things really go well for you.
Yeah, 100%. Mr. Flawless, final thoughts?
I'm going to echo again what Zach said, and I agree with him 1,000,000%. At the end of the day, look, it is deep, and I love these types of conversations, right? Because we're actually brainstorming and having a very thoughtful conversation, right? That is, I believe, is productive, and it really digs down to the core of how to be really good at what you do, and it's dealing with people. And I've always been fascinated, and I said this 1,000 times, this is the most important part of our business, is the human psyche and the mind, and those who master it and understand it better and know how to not play off people's emotions, but understand emotions and make decisions, these complicated and difficult decisions, and win, are the ones that are most successful. Let's not kid ourselves. It's also fulfilling too. It feels good. Yeah, I've always been the one who, like Christmas time and stuff like that, I'm the guy who loves giving the gifts, and I'm excited. I like seeing how excited people are, because it feels good to the people you love and deserve it, to be able to do good things for them, and then to see their reaction. I'm in a time in my life where we take the kids and they do something, and the family, and they're laughing and they're having an amazing time, and it doesn't matter where we're at, and I'm not participating, I'm just observing, right?
Sitting back and watching. Yep.
That is my jam, man. And I can just sit there and I get emotional thinking about it, but I sit there and I'm like, this is what it's all about. I love this. I might not be out there playing and having whatever and doing that, but I'm watching them enjoy it, and I'm a part of it, and I know I'm the one who provided. I gave them this joy. Here they are. And to me, it feels amazing.
And then Edgar texts him.
Yeah. And I got to deal with you, Edgar. Right. And then in some ways you feel that way too with clients. And
you do.
You were talking about it, Zach, about a wife or a husband that died or something like that, and taking care of, do you just clean the pool? We had the same situation like that. And his husband was like 80 years old, and he was in charge of everything. The wife knew absolutely nothing about anything, and he just all of a sudden just passed away, and she was stuck and didn't have any access to accounts or anything like that, and couldn't make payments. I didn't call her, I didn't say anything. I knew, I was like, I'm sorry. I called her immediately and gave her my condolences. I'm sorry, Stanley was a great guy, anything you need from us, we're here for you, don't worry about it. And we took care of her pool for 6 months, man, before she figured it out. She was like 85 years old, had no friggin' clue, but we took care of her for 6 months. And I go, good. And I'm paying somebody to, it's costing, right? I'm paying somebody to go out there and do it. Finally came around, and we got the most heartfelt thank you and note. And when she finally figured it out and got into the accounts, made us the payment, paid us all in full, it felt good. I made the right decision. I took care of her, because I'm luckily in a position where I'm able to do that. I'm sure if maybe I was in a position and it was like, hey, and I'm being honest, where if I gave you that money and now I'm not going to be able to feed my family or be able to pay my mortgage or rent or car payment because of it, when I'm continuing, when I can be doing that, then maybe that'd be a different decision, right? But when we're blessed in a position to where we're able to afford those deeds, as long as we don't get taken advantage of, I think it's the right decision. And I've told people this throughout my life, and I take it, friends that I've met that have come and gone, acquaintances, strangers, family members. Yeah, I'm sure you've all heard the saying, but don't take my kindness for weakness. You have to be able to draw that line, and they need to understand that you are doing them a favor, right? So that they don't take advantage of you, because the sad part is there's more assholes out there than there are good people. There are a lot of people. And if you do take that approach and you're not careful, it can burn you. But I think we become better people in a better world when we're able to do kind things for other people. And that's our job as business owners and as human beings, to be able to decide when to make those exceptions. So in no way am I ever saying, and I know we always try to say, hey guys, this is how you do stuff and this is not, and whatever, black and white. It's never always black and white. I wish I can tell you the exact way to do it so you can be successful. I can only guide you and help you, and that's all we can do. But I hope that none of our teachings or none of the things we talk about ever make you feel like that you can't do the right thing sometimes. So please don't misunderstand what we're trying to say here. That's it. I love this. This is my jam. As you can see, I'm like,
John is really inspired today.
I am. Dude, look, this is what I love talking about. This is what we look. This is how we started and what we did. This is why we started this, is because we wanted.
Look at him. He's all fired up.
I love having these conversations, man. What a way to start off 2025, man. I am pumped. Let's go. I'm gonna figure something. Yeah, I'm happy. Thank you. That was a great podcast, even though we didn't get into half the questions, but.
Why break and change in 2025, John?
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway. Gentlemen, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Catch me and John. John will be back next week on the Instagram Live. We had 2 weeks off. That was Christmas Day, and we had New Year's Day that we were off, but we're ready. We're fired up, and let's jam.
Cool. Have a good day.
All right, everybody. Have a good weekend. We'll catch you on the next one. Bye, guys.
See ya.
Thanks for listening to the Pool Nation podcast, a member of the Pool Nation family. You can listen to us live every Friday here at 9 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Central, and 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. You can find us at Pool Nation or poolnationpodcast.com, on Facebook, or on Instagram at pool.nation. And to find more info about Pool Invoice, the billing software built specifically for the pool industry, go to poolinvoice.com. Before you go, this is what the pool industry has been waiting for. Poolmanuniversity.com. It's the first platform dedicated to learning the swimming pool service and repair industry. A pool service community where you can connect and find videos on business, service, water chemistry, and repairs. See you there at poolmanuniversity.com.